So today my topic is how do you prevent secrets from getting committed onto your Git repositories. So as we know, basically there are so many secrets which are getting proliferated on GitHub every day. According to GitHub, about 39 million secrets were leaked last year alone. This can come from major repositories which have many, many forks and stars, or this can come from private repositories working like people who are novices. It's a very common habit to commit secrets. So what is a secret? A secret can be an API key, credential, token, password. A secret pattern is something which I will follow the terminology of what GitHub does. So my talk is mostly around GitHub. So if you're using other open source tools, for example, say GitLab, there are equivalents, but GitHub is a leading market provider. It's a leading source in my eyes for open source development. So there is high risk. Once an attacker gets access to your secret, it's essentially like exposing somebody a very sensitive entry door to your systems. It can lead to data theft, cloud access. If your systems are connected, it can even lead to lateral movement of an attacker into your system. So how does it work? So GitHub scans new and old commits. It scans all the branches that you have in your Git repos, identifying any patterns which it knows along with its partners that these are known patterns. For example, if a string matches a PAT token or an Azure API key, this will get flagged by GitHub. So leaked secrets may likely stay active for weeks. As humans, we are pretty bad at rotating our secrets. It's a mundane part of our job. Everybody likes to build new software, need not update their secrets as much as they should. About 67% of GitHub credentials have admin access. I would like to ask this room, how many times have you actually thought of scoping your credentials to not have admin access, but rather have fine-grained access? By a show of hands, has anybody used fine-grained tokens before? Beautiful. It's like 20% of the room. Still better than I thought. Thank you. So these are the sources which I have mentioned. It's not only so basically all kinds of repos have secrets. The example which I'm presenting here is that of Kubernetes. So if you have an open source project which has a secret into its main branch and somebody does a fork of it, they can still see your secrets. So better be your secrets be revoked and they are not accessed. This example is coming from Kubernetes. They had 5 secret scanning alerts among hundreds of thousands of commits, but still even repositories like Kubernetes can get affected. I'll give another example, which is not exactly of secret scanning, but essentially a side effect where companies so you might not be even causing the problem. You might be using a tool by Google, and Google might have made a mistake, and you will be compromised because of it. So it's a shared responsibility, which we all should manage as being open source contributors or working for organizations. Even government projects can have secrets. So I'll show an example of US government project. This is a very active repository from US government, which has 12,000 plus commits, multiple commits a day. They also have a secret. Although in this case, the secret was related to an image file, but the secret was proactively revoked. So I could not access the file, which I should have. I was thinking to. There's another example, which is coming from the Department of Veteran Affairs. This is an even more actively managed repository with 130,000 plus commits, multiple commits a day. They actually also had a secret, but this one was more serious than the first one. So why it keeps happening? Yeah, we are humans. We like to do our work quick and fast, and we like to relax afterwards. We don't really pay attention. Sometimes we commit secrets unknowingly. Sometimes we just don't care. So humans are the biggest problem in this case. I will also like to cover that AI is not better, so that will also come soon. I'm not trying to bash humans out here. So our workflows need not be secure. We make mistakes. Awareness is not equal to prevention. Even after this session, I'm sure some people among this room will continue to commit secrets. I hope not. So even as experienced developers, we forget to add files. For example, we might be storing our secrets in an environment file, .env. We might forget to add this file into our gitignore, and it will still get committed. Please understand that triaging secrets in feature branches is much more easier, but if a secret gets committed onto your main branch, it becomes a pain because other developers might be also working with your main branch. So please be careful when working with secrets. Please do a sanity check before making a pull request. Copying bad code leads to more bad code in the system. I'll cover this in a bit. So let's take some examples. So how can I make this a bit better? I'm trying to call it AI slop. It's a commonly used phrase that we see. AI is trained on the public internet, especially GitHub. So this example is coming from Stripe. So if you try to use the Stripe SDK, even the recommendation is, please put your secret out here. I think it's a bad secret practice. Like if you tell the developers that they should work with secrets by hard coding it, it's not a good developer practice coming from Stripe. A better example can be seen from Slack, where they say that, okay, you want to store your secret, please maintain it in an environment variable file, do not hard code it. Simple things lead to better outcomes. This is the result of what happens if AI is trained on bad code. This is a very famous tweet which came out where Devin was suggesting people to hard code secrets, which is a terrible security practice in my opinion. So let's take some examples where this has caused problems in real life. So as we know, secrets can persist silently. It's a very common tactic among attackers to go through a repository's Git history to identify any potential secrets or any potential pathways to enter the system. Lateral movement can cause much, much more problems. You might think that only one of my repositories is affected, but if this repository is talking with other repositories or it's part of a bigger ecosystem, it can be a bigger problem for your organization or your open source project. So this is a very unknown case study, but I find it very interesting, is that this study was done by a company called Trufflehog, where they scanned public internet data from December 2024. About 400 terabytes of data was scanned, and they found about 12,000 active secrets. These are not dummy secrets which were there. These were secrets which were identified to be active at the time of study. So out of these secrets, about 63% happened across multiple web pages. There was one particular secret which is for an apartment rental website in the US, which appeared almost 60,000 times. Active secret, I will repeat. So how can we make this not happen? So as I said, I will try to work with the example of GitHub. GitHub has a tool called secret scanning. It's part of the advanced security. If you're working with open source, it's available for free for public repositories. However, if you're working for organizations where the repository is not in public domain, it is a paid feature, a decently paid feature in my opinion. So GitHub does the best job, but it is free only for an open source. If you want to work with other tools, I recommend using Gitleaks. Gitleaks is again an open source tool maintained by maintainers. It's not as comprehensive as GitHub, but still does a good job. You can use it as a pre-commit hook too, before committing any code. Trufflehog, as I mentioned, the example which I covered earlier was discovered by Trufflehog. It's a private company which also has a public offering. So Trufflehog public offering is also good. If you want to use enhanced features, you can use the paid version too. But the publicly available version is good enough too. GitLab, I think I saw somebody in this room who was representing GitLab. So I would not badmouth them, but I think GitLab can do a better job when compared to GitHub in this. So as I said, please use pre-commit hooks. Try to avoid secrets from getting committed. So I'll try to wrap up my presentation. Some of the practical takeaways are, please use environment variables. If you are not storing them in env files, in any file that you use, please make sure to add them to gitignore file. Use pre-commit hooks as much as you can. Sometimes for small repositories, we might think it's an overkill. See if you can make it a bit simpler in your organization to use it. Please revoke and rotate any secrets. Do not create secrets which last until lifetime. If you create a GitHub path token, it is possible to create a path token indefinitely. Please do not do that. Use fine-grained tokens when you can. Please enable push protection for all of the repositories. This prevents your secret from getting committed in the first place and thereby the side effects. Please audit your Git history, as we all know. So as GitHub already admits that it's a very common problem in repositories, how do you actually prevent it? Please look at this link. I don't want to get into the details, but I have put this link which actually helps you prevent code from getting committed, secret code from getting committed into Git. As I said, main branch can be very difficult to fix. Thank you. This is my connection. Thank you all.
As you mentioned, that program can solve if we can use the local repository instead of public repository, or does local repository has the same problem which you mentioned?
Local repository will also have the same problem, but I'm assuming that you will work with other developers, so you will have to collaborate with them. So keeping it local will keep the problem onto your local system, but once you work with other developers on any code sharing tool, it will become a problem for you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Arpit. It's time to next session.